Hi, Cancer. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for February of 2021. This month's mix of themes around finances, but also purpose can be covered really well together in a natal and transit reading. And if you want that, there's a link for it in the YouTube description below. In last month's horoscope, I talked about how 2021 already feels lighter and brighter than 2020, mostly because Jupiter and Saturn have left Capricorn and moved into Aquarius. During February in particular, there's a large pile of planets in Aquarius, and Saturn forms a harmonious sextile to Chiron and a stressful square to Uranus. This is going to bring us a lot of opportunities to both understand and heal our relationship to the authoritarian and also the authoritative, within and without. If there's anything in your chart from 6 to 12 degrees of any fixed sign at all, and I know Cancer is not a fixed sign, but chances are good that you have some fixed signs in your chart. That would be Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. If you've got anything in 6 to 12 degrees of those signs, you're absolutely going to feel this. And you can find out more about it in our 2021 news playlist on our YouTube channel. So, Julia, what's the word for Cancer this month about Mars, Venus, and Mercury?
Well, hey there, Cancer. So I'll start with Mars because Mars is the planet of activity. It represents our drive. It can also be where we run into issues and conflicts with other people. And Mars is going to be in your 11th house of groups and friends all month. So you could be really driven towards participating in group activities, whether you're a part of a recovery program, a professional association, clubs, societies, gamer circles, sports teams, any type of group in your life. You could definitely be expending a lot more energy within a group context. But because Mars can be feisty, you might also run into sort of conflicts and also competition among groups as well, especially friends too. So, be aware of that one. Then Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships, begins the month in your 8th house. This is a very super intimate house in the whole sort of zodiac wheel. It represents other people's money, so how you can merge with others on a financial level, as well as psychological and even physical merging too on a sexual level. So if you're in a relationship, these themes might come up a lot more strongly, where you might need to find ways to merge more deeply with your partner, either financially, like through a joint credit card, or maybe you get a little luck where a partner or family member is able to lend you money as well, your close personal relationships. And you can really deepen the intimacy in an existing relationship too through this cycle. Then on February 25th, Venus goes into your 9th house, and this house represents adventure. It represents travel. It represents the higher mind, all the things that broaden you in life. So if you have any way to kind of get out of the house with your partner and maybe go on a little car trip to a local park or beach, or actually enjoy some consciousness expanding activity with a partner, maybe learning about some new philosophy or having some metaphysical discussion with them. That tends to happen around this time. And if you're single, then you could also be drawn to people or attracted to people who come from a very different background from you as well. Now, Mercury, the planet of communication and mentation, starts the month retrograde in your 8th house. Again, this is the house of other people's money. So whenever Mercury goes retrograde, it's a time of reviewing and having to redo certain parts of our life, usually represented by wherever Mercury is. So in your 8th house, you might have to sort of rethink your joint finances with others in some way. This is also the house of investigation and research too, because it's ruled by Pluto. So, if you've been sort of deep diving on something or investigating or researching, either in your professional, school life, or personal life, you might have to go back over your conclusions. So just be prepared for that. And then on February 8th, we have Epiphany Day, and that means that the sun is closely conjoined, so really at the exact degree as Mercury. And we can expect some more mental clarity that day to help you kind of sift through your Mercury retrograde issues. Then Mercury finally goes direct on February 20th. And that means that it's beginning to sort of station and pivot forward, finally. However, I would give it about a week after that date so that Mercury has time to also just speed up in the sky until we really can say that the whole Mercury retrograde cycle is complete.
Yeah. So there are two moons to talk about this month and also a seasonal change. The first of these moons falls in that Aquarius puppy pile there in your 8th house. The eighth house is a house of very deep things, very intense things, very passionate and sensitive things, such as merging and sharing and sexuality and intimacy and trust. And there are a lot of planets here emphasizing that area, but also they fall into Aquarius, which brings up a side of your nature that likes to bring some objectivity and space and some rationality into this area. And so it's going to be very much a month of focusing on it in that way. And Mercury retrograde's presence is going to be like play into this new moon that's happening here. And you probably already know that new moons have to do with new beginnings. And so this is a really great month for making some new beginnings in those intimate spaces, bringing that sense of objectivity and I don't know, I want to call it like equality to those conversations. So then a couple days after that, on the 18th, we have a seasonal shift as the sun leaves Aquarius and moves into Pisces. And this is part of the emphasis of these planets shifting gradually out of Aquarius and into Pisces, which is your ninth house, as Julia mentioned, the house of the higher mind, also travel, things foreign. And so your thoughts and your attention is going to start to go to what does it all mean? Why am I here? What is life for? You're going to start asking yourself the really big questions about things like, life purpose. So that is going to begin to be a major theme, especially towards the end of the month, and it'll continue into next month too. And that will be emphasized when the full moon happens, with the sun falling in that ninth house, while the moon falls in the third house. And the full moon is often carries with it, that's happening on the 27th. And the full moon often carries with it themes of relationship or partnership. This moon falls in the third house, which is a house of communication and dialogue. And so this might be a moon in which the very best way that you can engage in self-care is by being in the conversation. So we've been saying for a couple of months now that this winter is a really good time to start new projects. And the reason for that is that a large number of the planets in the sky, the outer planets particularly, are direct right now. And by that, I mean Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Chiron are all moving forward, and none of them are retrograde, all at the same time, which is kind of a rare thing. And so the result is that when you begin a major project, when you make a large purchase, when you birth something, it has the characteristics of this time and will be able to proceed forward swimmingly. So this is a really great time for those kind of projects. Now, the only reason not to, and it's a really good reason, is that Mercury is retrograde this month. But after about the 25th, that's not really an issue anymore. And so the tail end of February and going into March, really good time to start those really big projects. Good time to like buy that car, buy that house, buy that condo, that rental property. Go ahead and accept your first dollar in exchange for goods or services with your new business. Okay, that's all we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please be sure to like it, to share it widely, and subscribe to our channel. You can find our horoscopes on our website, pandoraastrology.com. And there you can also get that reading that I talked about and even take a class if you want to. And we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.